Our next example in section 1.4 is example 53. But before we go into example 53, let's take a look at some of these area formulas given to us in our workbook. We have the area and perimeter given to us for a rectangle, the area and circumference for a circle, and the volumes for rectangular boxes and cylinders. So starting with the areas of a rectangle, the area is length times width, and the perimeter is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So if I just put some numbers here, that the length of this rectangle is 8 inches, and the width of this rectangle is 3 inches, then if I wanted to find the area of the rectangle, the area would be 3 inches times 8 inches, which would give me 3 times 8 is 24. And inch times inch is inch squared. So the area of this rectangle is 24 inches squared. Likewise, if I wanted the perimeter of this rectangle, it would be 2 times the length, so 2 times 8 inches, plus 2 times the width, 2 times 3 inches, and we would get 16 inches plus 6 inches. So we would have a perimeter, which is the distance around the rectangle. You would have a perimeter of 22 inches. If we take a look at the circle formulas given to us, a radius, let's say it's 6 feet. And I want to pause for a moment and just remind you that a radius is half the length of a diameter. So if they give you the diameter and you notice these formulas require the use of a radius, make sure that you use the correct number. The diameter of this circle, but I just made up the 6 feet. So the diameter of this made up radius of 6 feet, the circle would have a 12-foot diameter. So just to remind you of that, let me erase all of this and get back to doing a quick example using 6 feet for these formulas. So the area of this circle would be pi, which is just a number, we'll talk about that in a second, times 6 squared, and we get 36 pi, and I meant to put feet in there, feet squared. So the area is 36 pi feet squared. If you need to change that into something without pi in it, let me just go over to my calculator and hit pi. Once again, pi is just a number, and it gives it to me in pretty print. And that pi number, pretty print, also called math print, has things look like what your symbols or your fractions look like on paper. If I wanted to see the actual number for pi, I would have to go into mode. And you don't have to do this. I'm just showing this to you, just to once again reemphasize that pi is a number. And I have to change it from math print to classic. So I hit mode, then I cursored down until the cursor started flashing on classic, and I hit enter. And now my mode is changed to classic, and hit second quit. And now I'm going to hit pi again and enter, and there's the approximation for pi. So I like pretty print. If I wanted to change this into a decimal, I could leave it in classic and say 36 times pi, and my calculator will give me 36 pi as an answer. But if I keep it in classic, it'll give me 113 and so many square feet. There is not a quick way to get this decimal, 113.097 square feet, without going into your mode on this calculator and changing it into classic. But there is a quick way to get it back to math print without having to go back into mode and cursor down to math print. So let me just show you that very quickly. Now, so I can quit on that to get back to my main screen. So I have 36 pi. It gives me this decimal, and I'm happy with that decimal. So I write that down. Okay, there's my decimal. But what I need to do now is to hit second reset. number 2, and my memory's cleared. And then when I hit mode again, it's switched over to math print. So that is a thing about this type of calculator. It does give you everything nicely written. It's just a little bit of an extra step if you want to go from something that's written in terms of pi or a fraction into something here that we can use. Now, moving on with our formulas, let me quit out of this. We have volumes. So we have the volume of a rectangular box is length times width times height. So once again, it's just a multiplication. If it had a length of 2 inches and a width of 2 inches and a height of 4 inches, then the volume of this box is length of 2 inches times width of 2 inches times height of 4 inches. And we have 2 times 2 times 4, which is 16. Sorry, my pen is skipping today. And then inches times inches times inches is inches squared. Cubed, excuse me. Inches cubed. There's 3 of them, so it's inches cubed. So the volume of this rectangular box is 16 inches cubed. If we take a look at the cylinder, it's pi r squared h, where pi, once again, is that mathematical constant that shows up with circles. R squared is, once again, the radius of the base circle. The base circle, once again, they can sometimes in problems give you the diameter, and to get the radius, it's half the diameter. Okay, so that does happen sometimes. And we're, on this particular problem, we're asked, or we're given the volume formula. So let me just run a simple volume formula. Let's say this cylinder is 10 feet high. The radius is 3 feet. And I want to know the capacity, how much this cylinder will hold. And the volume will be pi times r squared, which is 3 feet squared, times height of 10 feet. And I'll get pi times 9 feet squared times 10 feet, which is 9 times 10 is 90. Pi, feet squared times feet is feet cubed. So there's our volume worked out with the pi in the answer. And once again, if I tap on my calculator, pi times 9 times 10, hit enter, get 90 pi. I'm going to have to go into mode, down to classic. Get second quit. And do it again. Pi times 9 times 10 is 200 and approximately 282 and 74 hundredths of a cubic foot. Okay, let me just remind you, those of you who have been running into these problems and sent me homework questions, make sure that you do not round until the very end of the problem. It might be tempting to use 3.14 as an approximation for pi, but unless the problem tells you that, do not use it. Use the pi button instead. Now, I'm still in the decimal format, so I'm going to hit second, reset, enter. Whoops, sorry, second, reset, yes, enter. And now I'm back into my pretty print or my math print for this class.